Many times appearing as the mirror opposite of each other, there are a number of differences that separated the Sith from the Jedi. This was seen most notably with the codes of each order, representing the fundamental differences Jedi and Sith had in their approach to the Force. Another important defining difference between the two orders was visibly seen in the lightsabers they used, with the Sith using crimson blades and the Jedi accepting a wide spectrum of colors. But the lightsabers weren't only divergent in appearance, but also in strength at times throughout the violent history of both orders. In this video expose, I will explain how the crystals used by the Sith in Legends allowed them to produce lightsaber blades that were far more powerful than their Jedi counterparts, allowing them to break the blades of their ancient enemies. It's no secret that the Sith adopted a tradition of utilizing red-bladed lightsabers throughout their history, typically constructed using synthetic crystals. But the most important information we have regarding the strength of these crimson blades used by the Sith comes from the holocron entry of Jedi Master Pernicar. Having fought in the brutal conflict known as the New Sith Wars, roughly 1,000 years before the outbreak of the Clone War, Pernicar had his share of duels and confrontations with the Sith. But the most important for our purposes here, and perhaps for Pernicar himself, was the confrontation he had with his former apprentice, Rvmuller. After killing 3 Sith warriors on the battlefield, Pernicar turned around to see his former apprentice running towards him, with open arms and a smile on his face. Although he hadn't seen him in over 8 years and barely recognized him, Pernicar assumed his former apprentice was approaching to embrace him. However, Pernicar watched as Wud took his lightsaber in his hand and ignited it, revealing the Crimson Blade of the Sith. Recognizing his fall to the dark side, Pernicar didn't hesitate to cut down his former apprentice on the battlefield. With Wud dead, the Jedi Master picked up his Sith weapon and examined it, wondering if there was anything about the properties of the lightsaber itself that pushed his former apprentice to the dark side. Not knowledgeable about Sith lightsabers himself, Pernicar took the Sith blade to a Jedi armorer and asked her if she knew anything about the properties of the Crimson Blade or its potential effects on its user. While she didn't have much knowledge herself, she referred the Jedi Master to a holobook that contained information about lightsaber crystals. The holobook entry important for our present video starts by describing how red crystals on their own were usually unusable in lightsabers, given their instability compared to the green and blue crystals used by the Jedi. Of course, for this reason, synthetic red crystals became a defining feature within the blades of the Sith. However, as the holobook informed the Jedi Master, the Sith would take both authentic and synthetic red crystals and energize them with the dark side, giving them a distinct glow as they vibrated harmonically. As recognized by the holobook, in the millennia prior to the prequel era, this energizing process allowed the Sith to produce lightsaber blades that were stronger than their Jedi counterparts. In some rare cases, these blades were strong enough to actually break the blade of the Jedi's lightsaber. But it must be noted that the holobook is clear that by breaking the blade, it doesn't refer to an actual shattering of the blade itself. Rather, the energized blade was powerful enough to overload the energy matrix within the Jedi lightsaber, instantly burning out the weapon and leaving the Jedi opponent defenseless. It should also be noted that this process wasn't merely something that was speculated about or a theory found within the holobook. Having seen the information for himself, Pernicar remembered an occasion where he himself witnessed the breaking of a Jedi lightsaber in this manner, which at the time he believed was caused by a deficiency in the Jedi's weapon. Therefore, as was abundantly clear in the era of the New Sith Wars, the energizing process used by the Sith on both their genuine and synthetic red crystals allowed them to produce lightsaber blades that were literally more powerful than their Jedi opponents. It'll be interesting to see if any of this Legends material is brought over into the current canon. In canon, the Sith within the prequel era at least, obtained their crimson blades through a process known as bleeding the crystal, where a Darksider poured their rage, hate, and pain into a traditional kyber crystal to bend it to their will, and which would give it a red color. It could very well be that these resulting crystals are stronger than their previous versions. There could also be a differentiation even between Sith Lords, as I would imagine that someone like Darth Vader would be able to pour far more rage and pain into his crystal to make it bleed than say a Dooku. But that said, we haven't seen this explicitly or implicitly at the moment, leading one to believe that the canon process isn't overtly similar to the energizing process of Legends just described. So there we have it, why Sith lightsabers were more powerful than those of the Jedi. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions? Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. Or perhaps follow us on Twitter at SW Reading Club for updates regarding the channel. Or support the channel through Patreon for access to exclusive rewards and discussions. And I want to give another huge thank you to our returning Patreon members this month, Mary Allen, Donna W, Sebastian, and Jeffrey R. If not for me... For lessons that go unlearned.